Good morning, and well, first of all, thank you to the Dublin team of MEDIVA for so wonderfully organizing the event, and both in the academic part of it and in the organizational part of it. This is our second of 5 so-called European workshops, but it's really our first workshop presenting the results of the project, because our first workshop was rather kind of a kick-off meeting with some external participants, taking some input on how we wanted to do our work during the life of the project. So this is really our first workshop presenting results, and I very much thank the Dublin team for so skillfully organizing this. I'll be very brief today because I just mainly want to give an overview of what the MEDIVA project is about, and then Irina will present our database and our website, and then we'll go to the more concrete results. So this is, well, you can see the title of the project. I mean, reflecting also what you were saying yesterday, our funding, our co-funding, but main funding source is the European Fund for Integration of Third Country Nationals, which creates a technical, how can I say, limitation to the project, in that we have to focus on third country nationals, not on ethnic minorities, not on people who have naturalized, although the literature in this field is very much, intertwined. There's no distinction often in the literature between people who have naturalized or who were born citizens but are of a migrant background, and people who are first generation and not yet naturalized. The MEDIVA responds to a call from the European Fund of Integration of Third Country Nationals, which goes about the role and responsibility of the media in promoting migrant integration. But actually we see the role of MEDIVA as twofold. One is looking at whether and how the media reflect diversity, migrant-related diversity, and secondarily, how they promote migrant integration, but more specifically, how they promote migrants to get into the journalist profession, to get involved in the media, be recruited, be employed, be trained, and of course, how the migrants are represented in the media. The main output of the project is, let me just see if I should move. No, maybe. Well, the main output of the project is, and one of its aims is to build knowledge infrastructure. By this we mean the creation of a database, which you will hear more about in a second, to create a database where we have reviewed sources in 7 European languages, so not just English or not just French, but also languages that are less well known. So media studies on the media and migration in all different fields, but of course the database is organized along the 4 main thematic dimensions of the project. And the 4 main thematic dimensions of the project are the media representation of migrants and migration-related issues, so some kind of content analysis, discourse analysis. Second, the newsmaking practices related to migrants or migrant-related news. So how do you prepare your program? How do you create news? Third dimension is practices of recruitment and employment. So this looks both at whether there are, for instance, programs specially targeting youth of a migrant origin to get into the media, but also whether there are diversity programs, equality programs for, promoting migrants in the media industry, and also questions of career. Once you're employed, what happens? And I think these are some of the issues that were discussed also yesterday afternoon. The last dimension that we're looking at, but equally important, is training. Is there training for diversity generally in the media, so for all, to make them more aware and to help them do their job better? And also, is there, for instance, some training schemes that are particularly targeting, for instance, first-generation migrants, helping them, make the most of their qualifications and get to the media industry? We know there's a big issue of brain waste, if you want, especially in the first generation of migrants, where people may come with the relevant skills, but they cannot, find the relevant job. So are there specialized training schemes targeting those people? as I said, the MEDIVA is creating this database, this annotated database, where we present all the relevant studies that we have found, including some codes of ethics and policy documents. Our database concentrates on the period after the year 2000, so the last 10, 12 years, well, not 12, because I mean, the database was created in 2011, so we cover the period 2000 and 2010. It's available freely online and searchable. Here again, I think I have to thank the Dublin team expertise, because we have one very valuable assistant who actually created this so-called wiki-type database, and you will hear more about its features from Irina. MEDIVA did not only collect the studies that exist, but we also conducted interviews with senior media people from 6 countries, the countries that we cover. Our database is, let's say, Europe-wide, and we covered as many languages as we could. But the interviews are more nationally based, so we conducted the interviews in the countries where we are based. So in Greece, Italy, Ireland, UK, what else? Netherlands and Poland. So, and we have a total of 68 interviews with senior journalists or other senior people in the media who could speak about these 4 themes that I was saying. How do you present the migrant? How do you recruit? How do you employ? How do you train? What are your routines for news making? What kind of sources, for instance, do you consult, etc.? So we have drafted 4 thematic reports, one for each of these topics, based both on the literature review and this new data generated through the interviews. Actually, we are right now at this stage of having completed also this thematic report that you can find available on our website. And the next and perhaps most ambitious step that we're taking is creating a set of indicators of how the media are doing, like assessing their capacity to reflect diversity and promote integration. Again, our indicators are structured along these 4 topics, and our idea is to create a monitoring tool whereby both media outlets themselves can do a self-monitoring exercise, but also an independent institution may conduct a study, a monitoring thing using these indicators. And the idea is that these indicators apply in different countries, and for different media outlets. We want them to be appropriate for press, for TV, and for websites. These indicators are appropriate for mainstream media, not for ethnic media, because we want to assess the capacity of this mainstream media to reflect diversity and promote migrant integration. We have finalized our indicators after, as I said, also this consultation that we did with media people in our first workshop, and we are now in the middle of conducting a pilot study. So we are assessing specific media outlets in each of the 6 countries, trying to see how it works. First of all, how it works in practice, and second, also our aim is later in the spring to present the results. And if you want, create more media attention. This is our news value, that we're going to present these results and say, look, this mainstream newspaper like Corriere della Sera in Italy fares well or badly on this, well on the, better on one indicator, worse on the other indicator. You take a, public broadcasting TV and a private channel. And of course, our selection, this is a pilot study, so it's not representative of the media landscape of the countries. It's just, we have picked different types of media in these 3 fields, trying to see how the indicators work, but also, as I said, create media attention on MEDIVA and on the use of these indicators. So, and we will, we look forward to presenting those in 2 big workshops that we are going to organize. So one in Amsterdam in May and one in Brussels in June. So where we're going to present the results, and we will have also local events in each country presenting the results of that country. So trying also to, create more awareness among media professionals of the countries that we're studying. So I think another, I hope, I mean, I believe it is a positive feature of the project, but also I hope it makes a difference, is that each team has a group of 2 or 3 journalists that we call our liaison journalists. Some of them are here today, and I thank them for being here in each country, so who help us forge direct links with the media communities and the media associations or trade unions in the different countries. So enter these networks of media professionals that are sometimes a bit far for us researchers. And of course we have also 3 external evaluators, and one of whom is here, Aidan, and who, I mean, our 3 evaluators, Aidan comes really from the journalism profession, another comes from a more institutional background, Stefano Kluser, and another one is a pure academic, Toyin van Dijk. So the idea there as well is to get different perspectives on our work and, you know, improve our final results. So this is an overview of the MEDIVA project, and I give the floor to Irina to present the database and the website.